we've done a whole bunch of videos on this block.
Right.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, I'm just kind of thinking to myself about this science experiment you got going on here.
Channeling my inner Doc Brown.
This is what makes time travel possible. The flux capacitor.
Flux capacitor.
This block is a 1950-ish Flathead Ford V8.
Right.
Came in with a pretty notorious crack for these engines. You did a whole bunch of crack repair with putting plugs in.
If you want to see what I did there, go back to
the previous
video. Can watch us.
You have pretty low confidence on this repair.
Yeah. I'll be more surprised if it works than if it does not work.
But long story short, we have a ton of work into a piece of scrap iron. I mean, this is a literal boat anchor when it came in.
Yeah.
We did the plugs, we did the seat, we did a sleeve, but I'm getting ready to put this thing together and just thinking of, is there just something else we can do to have a little bit more peace of mind? And I have seen people use this ceramic seal for coolant systems before. See if we can circulate some of this through the engine block and maybe be one more line of defense over this thing leaking. The goal here is to not only circulate through the block, but circulate at temperature, or hopefully hotter than ambient temperature.
Right.
And pressurize it to maybe 40 psi and see if we can't force some of this ceramic seal into any of the imperfections in the block. But we're going to start with just circulating water through, so that, because this stuff is pretty nasty, I guess, if you get it all over. Sounds like it can make a mess. So we're going to start by circulating water through, make sure we don't have any leaks, and make sure we can pressurize it.
Part way to temperature anyway.
Yeah, and then maybe pour some of this in and see what we can do. This is just what it takes to save 70-year-old scrap iron.
Yeah.
But I'm going to actually put the heads on, and we'll circulate it through the heads as well. So I've got some fittings there. I need to do a little bit more plumbing here. I need you to
told me I needed to make block-off plates for where the thermostats, water necks go on the heads.
Yeah, make the block-off plates, and then find me a 12-volt battery to...
We can snag that off the dyno. There you go.
Whew. Guess the good thing is if we missed any other cracks, maybe this will...
Well, that's it. It'll take care of any imperfection it might be in that. I don't know if it'll make up for your shoddy machine work, but...
Whose shoddy machine work? You did half this. I think I honed it, and I don't know if I even honed it, actually. I cut the valve seats, but you put the seats in, and you put the sleeve in, and you did the crack repair. I didn't really do anything on this. That's why I'm so scared.
Why do we have you here?
Don't know. Okay, so for our setup, we've got an ultrasonic cleaning tank here, and all that's really supposed to be doing is holding, it's kind of the water reservoir and heating it up. So you can see we've got it set to 80 degrees Celsius. The actual is 80 degrees Celsius right now for roughly 4 or 5 gallons of water that I currently have in there. We're not actually going to use the ultrasonic part, we're just using the heater. So then we have an outlet here that goes to the sprayer pump for like a pesticide or weed sprayer. So this should be able to get us up, 60 psi is the shutoff pressure. It'll do 4.5 gallons per minute. Probably not going to do 4.5 gallons per minute through the small hose, but I'm not sure. So coming out of there, it'll go over to a T. The T's go into each cylinder head, and it'll push down hopefully kind of direct the water down into the block on both sides. Obviously, there's passages in the head and passages in the block that direct the flow of water, but we're hoping that we'll kind of force it downwards, because again, the cylinder that has the crack is kind of right in this area. It'll force it downwards, then it'll fill up all the way to the top, get all of the air bubbles out, and then our plates up here, we have some smaller line. Again, going back to a T, we have a valve here that we can open and close to hopefully control the pressure, which we'll be able to measure off this gauge that is conveniently upside down. And
any way to turn that over? Let's just try it. If it
See if
leaks,
it
we can
leaks.
snug it down.
anyway, everything should be blocked off. It'll return back. And again, this is 3/8 line, I think.
Yes.
But is that OD? That's 3/8 OD.
They measure that OD.
We're forcing it into some pretty small line here, so it may build pressure without even using this valve right here. But if we want to build more pressure, we can close this valve. But really, the biggest thing is circulating it with some heat. When I talked to Iron-Tight, because I was planning on using their product, then I decided to reach out to them and said, hey, can we make this into a video? And I actually got on the phone call with the salesman for about an hour discussing how the product came about and the best way to use it. But anyway, the heat is kind of going to do two things. It's going to bring the block up to be similar to what, theoretically operating temperature of the block will be, so that things have expanded, and you get that heat cycle, I guess.
Yes.
Because that's kind of what we're worried about, is we put this on the dyno, and the first time it heat cycles, is that crack going to open back up?
Yeah.
But that'll kind of heat cycle the block, and then the ceramic sealer product, it makes it thinner so that it'll flow into any of those imperfections.
Any of the smaller imperfections.
So hopefully the combination of the heat, the pressure, we'll be able to get that worked into any of those cracks that are left.
Did you cross your fingers?
I haven't crossed my fingers, but
You might want to.
Well, should I start by just opening this?
Yeah. Open everything up.
Okay, so there's the heating element. It's right in the middle.
Yeah, so we don't have to keep
Simmering.
that clear full.
It's actually simmering. So it is pretty dang hot. I wouldn't stick my hand in there.
Are we ready?
Yeah, turn it on. See if we
And-
get a shower.
Well, that's it. We want to watch here that this doesn't spray.
Ooh, it's pushing air out.
Well, if I put the lid over that, that keep it from splashing, because I kind of wanted to watch what it was doing.
Yeah. Well, it might make a mess for...
Feel the block, see if it's getting hot.
Yeah, it's hot down here. Holy cow, it's really hot. Yeah, you're about well, not quite halfway, I guess. Oh my god, the head is so hot. That's insane.
Just like it was running.
Yeah, seriously. And right now we just have water. We're just
Just straight
leak
water.
checking.
Just test, make sure.
Okay, we're getting hot here. This is kind of the hose I'm most worried about, this up here. So still pushing air out?
Yeah.
Okay, it's hot here. So we ought to be about...
Okay, we're going to have to put some more water in there. There, I think it just now sounded
now
like
got
it
to
made
water.
pressure. Let's add a little more water to this, because we're
out.
just about out down in here. You got any leaks?
Not that I've seen yet, but... Yeah, there's warm...
Oh, I thought you was going to say, yeah, there's a leak.
No. Feel the block. It's hot.
Oh, yeah.
Success
So far.
so far. Yeah, I guess we haven't built any pressure. Okay, we've got about, I'm going to call it 16 PSI, 18 PSI.
Okay.
So it is building pressure, just the fact that this line is
Restricts
smaller.
it enough. There we are. You know, we could have a turkey in here.
Yeah.
Isn't that how you cook turkeys? You just boil them in water?
No, you're supposed to fry them.
Oh. Well, that shows what I know about cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's working real well. Well, we've dropped clear down to 68, so what is that in English?
67. Hey Siri, convert 67 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. 150.
Okay.
So we're still pretty warm.
Yeah.
Are we a little wet? That bolt?
Yeah, it looks like you may be seeping a little around that head bolt. Yeah, it's actually my plate.
Okay.
Well, there was one of those gaskets that was torn, and I thought the silicone sealer would seal it up, but maybe not.
And we got water coming out back here.
Well, it's coming from up here. And you didn't torque that,
No, they're at 50
Full.
pounds.
and we didn't put any kind of sealer on it, the head gasket.
Oh, yeah. Should we see if it'll hold any more pressure?
I suppose you could. How much you got?
25.
Can I run through and retorque your head bolts?
Yeah.
How much did you do?
I did 50. And I think it said 6. What did it say online?
I'm going to go 5 more. Do I have to do any special pattern, or can I just start middle
Probably
and work
not
up?
not at this point. I wouldn't worry about it. It said 65 to 70 is the.
Can we see our crack repair?
No.
It's hidden under the head,
Yeah.
but it's on that cylinder. None of the cylinders are filling up with water.
I saw one cylinder had some water starting to leak, but I think it was the head gasket.
Yeah, because our head gaskets, if we're leaking to the outside, we could be leaking to the inside too.
One thing I talked with Rich at Iron Tight about is the fact that we're in a controlled environment. We've already glass beaded this block. We've ran it through the spray cabinet, which is a pretty basic solution, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
this one is still
Yeah, it's still,
pretty big. It's not as basic as
Yeah,
the
but
caustic
it-
is, but
it's definitely not neutral.
anyway, so the one thing with this ceramic seal, you cannot mix it with any antifreeze. It'll turn in, he described it as turning into a lava lamp.
That's all we need.
So they make a product.
You know, a lava lamp would be about the right vintage for this.
That's
Last time it
exactly what
ran.
he was commenting about. So they make thorough flush because some people are going to want to do this in their vehicle. Well, this is what you would run through your cooling system to clean it out since you've been running antifreeze before you, and then you would drain it out, and then you would run the ceramic seal.
Okay.
We're in a controlled environment. This thing is already pretty clean. Any rust it had is residual surface rust
Yeah.
after we've cleaned it. I mean, the inside should look as good as the outside
Yeah.
does, realistically. So that's why we're not running the thorough flush, but we are going to run the ceramic seal. 1 gallon is supposed to be good for up to 6, or 1 bottle is supposed to be good for up to 6 gallons, but I think let's put 2 bottles in.
Okay.
He said if you were in a production, you could run it as thick as 50-50, but I think we'll be good circulating it with
With what we've got
what
here.
we've got here. So, what kind of pressure do you run on your sprayer when you're?
Depends what nozzles you have in, what you're trying to do. Most of the time, I'm running about 30 pounds.
Okay.
And actually, that pump has a hard time keeping up 30 pounds when I'm spraying because the flow is so much higher
Okay.
than what this is.
This stuff is supposed to be pretty nasty too, I guess. Like it'll ruin chrome and paint. So
It's not going to ruin your,
I wonder if we need to shake it.
I bet you do. Try shake it and then maybe put a little water in it.
Yeah.
And
Rinse it out.
yeah,
And again, all we're doing here is trying to get some extra peace of mind. There's some other benefits to this too. I think it's supposed to make your cooling system more efficient. But for me, it's really, I don't want to go to all the time to build an engine and not know that I've done everything I can to not have it be
yeah,
cracked.
yeah. We don't want to have to do this over, although we will if that comes down to that. But
Is there a little red light blinking on here?
yes, there is.
Okay. Should we pour it in?
Yeah. Hot water, straight hot water running through our block, and also these iron plates we put in there to hold the line down. We're already creating rust.
Yeah.
Go kind of easy with that right by the pump.
What do you mean? Oh, put it all over?
Yeah, so it gets stirred up a little bit.
Well, I appreciate them sending this out. Whoa.
I was thinking you just bubble some in from the bucket.
Oh. Will it fit in the bucket?
Probably. Mostly because I didn't want to shower.
I appreciate them sending this out and telling me the story of it for a thing, but it's been around for a long time.
Well, that's it. I remember this stuff when I first started in the machine shop, and I've never ever had. I've had times where I wished I had some, but I never ever actually tried it.
So we're gonna run this for probably at least an hour here, if we can.
And if you need to go home and
Let you finish.
let me finish, I can certainly do that too.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna set an hour timer here to start.
Okay.
It says if you were doing this in the vehicle, you would start it, let it run at a fast idle for a minimum, or let it get up to operating temperature and run at a fast idle for a minimum of 1 hour, or drive the vehicle for 2 days. And then drain it. Huh?
2 days straight, 48 hours?
2 days straight. I don't know. It says 2 days. Then you're supposed to empty it and let it air dry, air cure. It says ambient temperature must remain above freezing. And after 12 hours, you can refill your system and go to town.
Well, I'm pretty impressed with your little setup here so far.
We've got 20 PSI here. Are you okay with me running it up a little?
If you think the hoses will hold it.
They held it the first time.
What does that get it to?
That's 40.
Okay.
I mean, if you were doing this in your normal system,
15 at best.
15.
I don't know if this system has any pressure.
I don't know either. I don't know what the...
I don't know what kind of radiator cap they use on this. I saw somewhere that said the new water pumps we got are designed to be able to hold more pressure than the old original ones were.
So that if you wanted to put do a whole new cooling system?
Yeah, if you wanted a better cooling system with a pressure cap on it, that the seal in the water pump would hold up to the pressure. So that kind of made me think that maybe these don't have any pressure in them
Yeah.
from the factory.
Well, maybe some people will comment and offer us some insight on when vehicles started having...
Oh, I have no doubt people will comment.
Yeah.
And we enjoy your comments.
I would say we joke about it, but we actually do.
Yeah, 99% of your comments we enjoy. But it is kind of one of them things, if you don't have anything nice to say,
Don't say it at all.
don't say something just to be a jerk.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about putting any extra sealer on the head gasket. When we build this?
When
are
we
we
build
putting-
this, we will. I was looking for something to stir the pot here. What do we got?
No water on that side.
I just want to make sure everything wasn't just settling down in the bottom of the tank here. I don't think it is.
So 127, so
Well,
do you want to get... This thing's pretty freaking hot.
yeah, there's up to, yeah, it's bouncing between 53 and 54.
Would there be a bolt that goes into the exhaust?
Yeah, could be.
If you look at the ceiling of the port, there is a small leak of some sort. Same on this side.
Well, isn't that where this head bolt comes out?
Well, that's what I think a head bolt goes through the water passage
Yeah.
into the exhaust port. And I guess we should preface that this sealer is not meant to fix big leaks.
No, it's for tiny little imperfections that you would normally miss.
So we've got another block here.
Yeah. Yeah, goes right there. I can feel it.
Huh. I guess I never.
We never really looked at that close.
I'm trying to remember though, because I remember our block has some cracks that go across.
Just like this one, isn't that cracked? Maybe across there, or
Maybe
ours did have some.
Like
of
ours
that.
has some of these.
Yeah.
So maybe.
So if that's pressurizing here back into the threads, that would come down there and leak. So again, when they put this engine in, they need to put some good block sealer in the coolant.
So speaking of which, you know, this product, you can't use it in the cold. So they had customers that wanted to use this product in the cold. So they came up with their all-weather seal. And this is what you can run in your coolant system permanently.
Oh, okay, so we're going to be putting that in when they install the motor in the car.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend that they run this, you know, follow the instructions on here and run this. And this is what you're supposed to be able to run permanently, including where it gets cold.
Okay. This you can mix in antifreeze.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So it's...
because you should run antifreeze even if this thing's in a warm climate.
Yeah, and this product probably is not as effective at fixing a crack as this product would be. But you get the compromise of you can run it in a cool climate, you can run it with antifreeze.
Yeah.
So that's
So that should take care of what we're seeing there leaking around that head bolt.
Yeah.
When it's
hopefully.
in the car. Yeah.
And or when we build it, now that we know, just think about that a little bit more and make sure that you have enough sealer on that bolt. Because I didn't put, some of these got a lot of sealer on them, but I didn't put a crazy amount of sealer on them.
You mean the one you dropped in the
Well, that was,
can?
you know, that was one of our nice new stainless bolts for the water pumps that I dropped in. I don't want people to get the impression that because it's leaking here that it's not working. 'Cause
Right.
that's not...
What we have leaking here right now is our own fault because we didn't put any sealer on that head gasket.
Yeah. And like the pipe threads here, I mean, that's a pretty rough setup. And it hasn't had 12 hours to cure.
No.
Because it's supposed to cure as well. So I guess we'll let it run for a while.
You know, Ian, if we just slipped a plastic bag over that, that would help hold the heat in.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
One more barrier for when the hose blows.
Yeah, that's
too.
right.
We've only run 15 minutes. Feels like it's been hours. You know, you're wanting to agitate it?
What does that do?
That's the ultrasonic.
It does agitate it, huh?
This block is not going to look as pretty when we're done.
No.
Yeah, so we're past an hour now, but we are gaining heat again. We put a bag in your coat over it.
Well, I know that's a warm winter coat.
Yeah.
100 and a little over 170, 171. Okay, everybody. Nicholas went home a couple hours ago. I've since had my supper. Now I'm coming back to the shop again. It's after 7 p.m. We still have our setup here. Sonic cleaner here is holding 80 degrees Celsius. You can hear our pump still running here. And if we look inside, solution is being pumped around. Let's shut the pump down. Get rid of some of this noise. Turn it off. Shut off the sonic cleaner. Let's pull the bag off this block. That really did help keep the heat in. But you can see we do have solution that has leaked out, but it's coming from our head gaskets and this block off plate we put on here. It is absolutely not coming from any bad spots in the engine itself. We got some leakage around the head bolts here. Stuff that we hope we don't have when we actually build this engine, but this was just kind of a temporary setup to be able to put that solution in. If we go around on this side here, Shine that up in our cylinder in question, and I can see up in there that there is no sign of any kind of leakage in our questionable cylinder. I think everything on the block looks good. And this thing is actually so hot I cannot hold my hand on that. That's just like if that engine had been running. So Nicholas wants me to take this contraption off. We'll turn the block over, drain this stuff out, and we'll let it dry overnight. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with this. And we'll see what this looks like tomorrow. But in the meantime, I do have to get that solution out of the block. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing drained. I've got a drain pan here, and my plan is I'll pull one of these lines off the front of the block here, up on the top side here, where our return was back to the tank. And I'm going to take out a head bolt because most of these go through into the water jacket, and I hope we can just carefully drain the coolant out into this pan. If that doesn't work, this tear-down table here that we use for tearing engines down, where we have this one mounted right now, does have a drain here in the middle that goes into a bucket underneath. So if all else fails, it'll end up in that bucket. But let's see if we can catch it here first, and I'll just put it back in the sonic cleaner here. Let me pull this line off of here. Boy, this thing is hot. I'm going to put some high temperature welding gloves on here because I cannot hold on to this. Let's see what happens when I pull that line off. Okay, so far so good with that. Let's take a head bolt loose now. Okay. That is hot. Plenty of steam coming out there. So that may take just a little bit. But I'd rather take a little bit of time than to make a huge mess of this stuff. Okay, I'm going to screw that back in and dump my pan. Okay, there's one pan. Okay, I think I'm going to call that good. Now I think we can do the other side of the block. I'm assuming that this side is drained down as far as this crossover hose is. Okay, there we come on that side. There, we should have most of it out of that side. Up here on top, the other hose here. Let that all drain. This is just like working on a hot engine in a car. That held plenty of heat in there. First thing I see is that gray color inside the block. Everywhere in there is that coating. Oh yeah, all over inside that block. Okay, come off. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to let this drain overnight. Tomorrow morning when Nicholas comes in, we're going to reassess and see what we've got. We'll have quite a bit of cleaning to do, but we'll clean that up and be ready to assemble.
So we're 12 plus hours later after you drained it.
Yeah.
So the stuff should be cured. I can see why you probably want to be pretty dang careful with it, because, I mean, it makes a mess, right?
Well, it can make it. You could make a mess.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful or you will have a mess.
And like up here, you can see some of that. Hopefully, what it did inside the cracks, that same epoxy type, I guess ceramic seal.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, it's not epoxy. It's that ceramic. But yeah, when it came out there and cured, it left a hard finish on there.
I think the fact that it wasn't pouring water out into the cylinders the whole time when it was pressurized to 40 pounds and heated up to, at the tank we got it all the way back up to that 180 Fahrenheit-ish, but
So it was 180 going into the block, 100, I think what 175
Somewhere
is
in
what it
there.
would have been. But anyway, it was up to temperature going into the block. I don't know what it was by the time it came back out, but we were able to hold the temperature on our tank anyway.
So I guess at this point, I just have some mess to clean up and
Yeah, you need to go around the outside and clean off some of this where our head gasket was leaking, because we didn't have the heads torqued on full torque or anything there. You know, some of it ran down the sides on the outside here, just made it not look nice. So we just need to clean it up, make it look nice again, get the gasket surfaces all cleaned off real good again so it's ready to go back together.
I feel pretty confident, you know, that we've done everything we can to make sure this thing is going to seal.
We've done everything we can and probably beyond to try and make sure
That this repair holds.
that we've got a repair that's going to hold. Well, I was going to say, everything we've done here is kind of an experiment, and that's how you figure out what things work and what things don't work. If everything always worked the way it's supposed to work, you never would learn anything. You learn from your failures.
We'll put it together, and again, when they actually get it in the vehicle, we're going to recommend that they run that other all-weather
Right.
sealer.
Yeah, that's the final step in making sure this lasts.
But that's, I guess, a piece of it when it dries.
Well, that's it. What did leak out here on our table, on that plastic sheet there, that laid there overnight and cured. So that is the coating that will be inside the block and hopefully pushed into any of the imperfections that might be in there. It's never going to have 40 psi in the cooling system
So,
until that crack opens up.
yeah. We want to say thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. As you can see here, I do have this Flathead Mercury pretty much assembled. I just got to put the heads on and the intake on, and hopefully it'll be going on our dyno soon. We do want to say a big thank you to Iron Tight for sending us out the ceramic seal, as well as their all-weather seal and their thorough flush. They're not paying us on top of it, but obviously they did send out the product. That was the product I was going to use regardless of whether or not they sent it out, because I've seen other people use it and it's been around for a long time, so it gives me some good confidence that it will work. If you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to salvage an old block, or maybe you just have a little bit of a leaky head gasket or something in the vehicle, it might be worth checking out their product and giving it a shot. So there will be a link in the description to Iron Tight's website. Last thing I want to announce too, for those that are interested, is we finally have merch. We've been doing content creation for about 5 years now, and throughout all that time, we never made an effort to come out with merchandise for you guys. So we finally have it. So we've got the logo hoodie, the logo t-shirt, the Don't Tell Mama t-shirt. If you guys have been around since my dad's Alice 210 rebuild, you've been around for a little bit on the YouTube channel. That was kind of one of our first series that really took off. So we've got the Don't Tell Mama t-shirt. I think you guys will like this one. Don't ask me, I'm just the cleaning guy. We have the Suck, Squeeze, Bang, Blow t-shirt. In other words, the 4-stroke cycle. You might remember we did a mouse pad with this design about 1.5 years ago, kind of a limited edition. Well, the t-shirts are here to stay, and I think there's a sticker of this as well. And going with that, we have a baseball cap, SSBB, Suck, Squeeze, Bang, Blow. It's got Jamsey Online on the side as well. But I just think it's kind of funny when people ask me what does SSBB stand for, and I have to try to explain Suck, Squeeze, Bang, Blow in public. So be sure to check it out. We'd love to see some of you guys repping our merch. The link again is in the description of this video. And stay tuned, because we should be breaking this engine in on the stand, or hopefully on the dyno if we can figure out how to get it mounted to it, coming up pretty soon here. Thanks again.